Welcome to the new episode of Lumen Media Podcast, where we discuss matters as they affect us and society. Today, I'm your moderator, Udo Ngoma, and I have two special guests who are going to discuss what we have today. The topic we have, very interesting topic. The first person I'm going to welcome to this discussion is Comrade Nnadi Victor, aka Pavi. Pavi is a public servant and SA to the clerk of the Imo State House of Assembly.
Hello, listeners.
Thank you very much. Our next guest is Comrade Chooks Anya. Comrade Chooks is known as Woko Maeme. He is the incumbent chairman of PASAN, Imo State Chapter. PASAN is Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria. Comrade, greet our audience.
Ndị na-ege anyị ntị ndewo no.
Today, we are looking at a topic, skills over certificates. As you see in our society today, we tend to lay emphasis more on certification than skills. And this has been causing very much nuisance in our society, where institutions of learning produce more of certificates carrying students and graduates who are very unemployable. And I want to ask our guests today, where did we get it wrong and who is actually to be blamed for this? Over to you, Comrade Victor.
Thank you very much. I really have to be honest. There are a lot of people, there are people we can blame or institutions, but majorly I want to lay the blame on parents. I know teachers have a role to play in shaping a child to achieve his talent. I know the religious leaders have their own role to play, and I know governments have a major role to play. But why I choose to blame majorly the parents is this. The parents have really failed. They have failed in guiding their children. Why I say this is, most parents now don't have time. They don't create a little time to stay with their children to find out what God has deposited in them. So, like I mentioned, that we have institutions to blame, government to blame, and other leaders to shape the society, to shape the children. Why I choose to blame the parents is this. Parents have failed woefully to guide their children. When I mean woefully, they have failed woefully because some parents leave very early from their house to church and come back late. They don't try to create out time to stay with their children. Know exactly what God has deposited in these children, because nobody in this world is without talent God deposited in him. It is left for the parents to discover these things, then help the child, channel him or her towards that talent. Because if I keep on saying these things, there are many examples I can now point.
Okay, sir. Before you go into these examples, now you are seeing to the parents that they have failed. Now, if they have what about those who don't have those intuitive abilities, who don't have that
The summer.
guidance, that they didn't study any guidance and counseling course to help discover what if a parents like that, what actually do you think? Is it actually his fault?
Yeah.
Can teachers also be part of it?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, that teachers have a role to play. But in this, when we are talking about parents, remember that you get back to them. That's you don't have the intuitive or this thing to discover exactly the talent in your children. I don't buy that idea, because when you stay with your child or with your children, interact with them, play with them, discuss with them, interact with them. Definitely, you will find out that you will find out one or two things that is inside that person.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to you, Comrade Chuksani. Comrade, do you totally believe in what Comrade Victor Nadi has said on this?
Moderator, it is a societal menace that today's children will not find their daring based on the fact that not only parents, when I say societal menace, the society, the government, church, or when you say the religious institution, but in our climb here, we are Christians, so I have to use the church. They've all contributed as a factor that has crept in the upbringing of the child. That today we may get to that point where some of the things that we are expecting within our society, like in the hospitals, like in the schools, we may not have the professionals, even in trading. Because when you talk about certificates, people guiding you properly, the Igbo man system of trading that is known all over the world, it is part of education too. Because when you take a child to learn trade or skill at a particular point or a time frame, you settle that child. You have given that child a platform, you understand, to thrive. And now, when we do not have these people, when I mean by these people, the variables, the people, that is the institutions that should contribute to the upbringing of that child, that is the parent, the guardian, the government, the religious leaders, and the society. If they don't influence you very, very well, you will see that the child may not get at what he or she.
Okay, Comrade, please hold it there. Let me ask. Now, who? The question now is like Comrade Naji said. He said the parents. Now, who actually are you? Who do you think should be blamed more? Let me use it that way.
I think the society. The society, when I mean the society, is, sometimes it might be ambiguous. You understand? Because the society comprises both the parent and the government.
That's everybody.
Everybody have to shape the child.
You see, good enough. One of our listeners are saying that thank God you brought these people to this show. That it is the government that they are serving, since they are public servants, they are the ones who are responsible. Because how will you expect somebody before you advertise your job? You tell somebody 20 years experience. You must be masters, MS, PhD in these certifications. You have not actually, you don't even care about experience. Sometimes if you want to consider experience, after listing all these long lists, you take 20 years experience. Where would those people get?
Yes.
So he said the government, which you people serve, the people as public servants, are responsible. Comrade, do you believe? You people, they say you are saying the parents, but they say you. When I mean you now, the government you are serving on behalf of the people.
Yeah, they have their own chunk of blame. Honestly speaking, they have some blame goes to them. But why I said parents more is that when you discover the talent in your child, you will be able to lead him or her aright. And because what we're talking about, putting a round peg in a round hole, is what we're talking about. So because now, if you don't harness their talents, if you don't guide them to achieve their talents, to expose it, to achieve it or actualize it, definitely, maybe some parents. Okay, let's take it this way now. I want to tell you now that 60% of parents, they have already concluded on what they want their child to be. Some will tell you they want their child to be a doctor. Some will tell you they want their child to be an engineer. They want their child to be a lawyer. They want their child to be this or this or this. But the truth is that this child, they want him to be a lawyer. Have you been able to assess him? Have you been able to find out whether he has such talent? Because all these things are calling. All these things are calling. Even government job you're talking about or anything, it's calling. And that is why when you go to some offices, you see some people doing well. Others are not doing well because it's not their call. When you go to nursing profession, it's calling. Medical medicine is calling. Law is calling. Engineering is calling. Honestly, if we get it right at a very young age, you discover their talents, interact with them, channel them towards their talent. Honestly, they will perform wonders. And even that government will be looking for them. It is when we will allow our own will to override their own because you have the money. You can buy, you can access admission for them with your money. You want him to be this, you want him to be this, without checking whether truly this child has a calling in that field or profession.
Okay, thank you, sir. Comrade, you said the society, but I believe the society is a reflection of the citizens or the communities that comprise that society. Now, when you now say society, and with you see, all of us are now part of it, including you and I, who are talking now. How do you think we can get this thing right? What can be done for us to shift from certificates carrying students or graduates to skilled youths and individuals? How can we do that?
Thank you, moderator. I want to now narrow it down to the government. Since my colleague has situated his on that of the parents, see, the government has a very major role to play because when you provide, a conducive atmosphere, environment for a child to thrive, that is to learn, and such institutions like while we are growing up, we have such institutions like GTC, that is vocational centers, where if you are talented in arts, you will be sent there to go and discover more of yourself. You go there, you see people who will major on woodwork. You go there, you see people who will major on things that has to do with engineering. You understand? Now, but today, when I say it is a societal menace, the government itself has left its original, assignment of providing conducive environment, because most of these schools that we hear before, we had before, do not exist today. One, because of the nature of dilapidation. Some of them that existed 20 years, 30 years back has dilapidated. Some of them lack equipment, laboratories, and what have you. Now, because government has refused to play its role, you see, our children, even when they go to that school, you don't see enough teachers to teach them. So government is a major factor in determining how our children, what they become and how
Thereafter.
thereafter.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come quickly to you. Now, you said the government. Now, like from what Comrade Chuk said, he said most of the places, the role of he tried to exonerate the government here by saying those things are dilapidated. Can we? That means the government doesn't have the will. You see, the person who is talking now is still right. The will, the will, political will to get these infrastructures back to functionality is no longer there. Now, do we have to wait for the government for ages? What's outside the government? Now, you have left the parents. Outside the government, how can we, as the society or collectively, how can we give these people skills? How can we shift that certificate mentality to skill mentality? How can we get there back to the roots?
Thank you, the moderator. Honestly speaking, there's no way we can rule out government rules in these things. Government must surely play a major role because there must be enabling environment. There must be, like formally, we do have a lot of facilities, sports facilities and all skills facilities for these people to now go to their various talents. So we cannot say government, we cannot take them away. They must surely do something. Why the parents on their own side, make out time for your children, discuss with them, try to find out the talent, the gift God have given them. Then when they are doing that, government on the other side must surely go back to basics.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to ask you, please, Comrade Victor. Yeah. If you now, let's assume you're a child now, you have discovered a talent.
Yeah.
And within your the limits of your income,
Okay.
you know that talent, maybe you are one of the parents who living in the remote areas, and you see your son or your daughter has that passion for sports, for instance.
Okay.
You mentioned all those sports facilities.
Yeah.
How can you, when there is no money, how can you help that your child? Or you discover that your son or your daughter has passion for a particular field, maybe nursing, like you mentioned, or whatever, acting. How can you, when the money is not there, what can you do to help your child get those skills you see in him?
Moderator, you've really asked a very difficult question because even it is written in the Bible that money answereth all things. When there is no money, actually, it will affect both the parents and the child negatively because money answereth all things. If you want your child to be a footballer now, you've seen him, he's good at it as small as he is, you begin to buy him boots, those facilities. If the money is not there, what do you do? Maybe, that's why I said that money answereth all things.
Okay. So we leave it open-ended. So these are some of the challenges some parents are facing.
Yeah, exactly. But it is good for you to discover. Then push. God can help. There are miracles. Like you said now,
I totally disagree on that aspect of there are miracles.
Okay.
God will not come down from heaven and begin to perform a miracle for you. Now listen.
Okay. How can
if
the parents,
if the government
yes,
refuses to play its role on the citizenry, particularly in catching them young, in trying to provide the conducive environment for the children to thrive.
Yeah.
Now there are communal efforts. A lot of people, philanthropists, are looking for people to sponsor. Now that is one. There are institutions that are owned by the religious bodies. Some of these institutions that are owned by these religious bodies are that is, you don't need much money depending on your belief on them, they will discover you. They will help. They've been helping. Like, to be very honest with us, in the past, I know about Mary's brothers. They helped a lot of children.
Okay, please, Comrade Jukes,
Mm.
not to cut you short. You said in the past.
Yes.
We are now talking of the present.
Yes, in the present.
Because I know some churches in Nigeria whereby from the coffers of the church, they built universities, they built restaurants, and those universities are some of the most expensive private institutions.
Yeah.
So you are talking about sponsorship of the church and sponsorship of the individuals. Do you think that these people can meet up with some of these things? And how can the parents get contact with some of them?
I am not here to begin to promote or advert for some religious organization.
But
I have mentioned about Mary's brothers.
Okay.
We have the whole view. We have the whole view. Lutru is still there functioning.
Okay.
You understand? Where they train disables at no cost. Just come, apply, and you'll be, admitted in their institution. We have so many. It is a Catholic-owned institution. I am not a Catholic person, but I passed through that institution, and I know that there are, stages of things. They even if you don't have money, they will help you accomplish that your talent. They will discover if you come. They will register you. If you have money, you have weird people who have money. You have your places there. What they do is that they will train you to become somebody in the society.
Okay, thank you. Look at who we are looking at now. We have seen that in the government. Do you think you people are closer to the legislators? And I strongly believe that the major functions of the legislators are: one is policy making and the oversight functions of the executives.
Moderator, are you trying to?
I want to come, please. I'm not putting words. Don't.
Okay.
I know you. What I want to do is this: is it possible? We are talking about a conducive environment. The government should provide enabling environment.
Yeah.
Don't you think that the oversight functions of these legislatures over the executives is not very effective? Because we are talking about some of these institutions owned by the government that are no longer functioning. Don't you think that the government needs to revisit some of these policies to make sure that we revamp all these for those who cannot access these opportunities?
Now, my moderator, in Imo State today, I want you to take a closer look of what is happening in Imo State today. Now, yeah, we are public servants, civil servant. You understand? I am coming from that, school of thought of people who believe that government must do or are doing a lot of things today in reshaping, in remodeling, our society. And I want to tell you, particularly this present government has not relented on its effort in trying to,
When you say the government now, we are talking about the society. I don't want us to limit this to Imo.
No,
maybe you might get scared there.
No.
Please, excuse me. As the incumbent chairman, know ye that you are the parliamentary staff association of Nigerian chairman of Imo State.
Yes, chapter.
Of course, the Imo State chapter, of which you liaise with other states.
That is why I want to be particular about Imo State. And that is why if you had come to Imo State of recent, you understand what I am talking about. Because
what the government is doing, is their good or is their best good enough to meet all these things we are
That's
talking
what I'm
about?
saying. If it is, I want to be particular about Imo State.
Okay.
I want to take Imo State as an example. You understand? Because one, the place called Imo State House of Assembly 5 years ago or 6 years ago was not the way it used to be. The way it is today, when you walk in there, it is being amplified. It is being, remodeled to a very serene, conducive environment where people can be able to stay and do their work effectively. It wasn't like that before. Now, talk about our schools. If you go down, the hinterland, you discover that there are so many schools, unlike the previous government that was doing the more you look, the less you see.
No, please. Let's not get there, sir. Please let me come to you as I know definitely everybody will try to say what he or his mother, like Igbo to say, "Enwonye ofe na-eshiri." So,
Nana
Nana
Adoto.
Adoto. I don't want to dabble into that.
Okay.
What I want us to look at now, Comrade Victor, please, is there anything which, based on what Comrade Chooks has said, is there anything we can now say if parents, like you always say the parents, if the parents cannot actually do their role as a guidance or as a good counselor? I know in government we outsource. What do you think a parent who is limited in terms of his job or limited in terms of his pocket, what can such parents do to see that if the skill which the child has acquired or he has seen in the child is developed?
Thank you very much, the moderator. Now it goes back to where we started. I said first, the parents have to do a lot of work. Then secondly, government must surely play their role. We cannot say they have failed. Like like here now in Imo State, there's one they call Imo Light. I'm aware that this government have trained thousands of artisans. The truth is that let me just say this truth now. There is a program going on now. Government are training them in this computer. Some of them who are not really who don't have calling in that computer because they want to own their computer. You see them going there to do that. And when they acquire that thing, it will not be useful to them because they just want to go and get the computer. So now, if government should now do more by a kind of enlarging it in all areas, creating an enable environment in sports, in trading, fashion, this and others, many skills and trades, so that people can now go to where they will be fitted in very well.
Thank you very much, sir. Our time is quickly running out, and without wasting much of your time, you have been listening to the Lumen Media podcast, and like I said, our two great guests who have been discussing with me, you see, they are professionals in this field. And for those of you who would like to join us as guests on this show, you are pleased to call 08060794512. Come and share your thoughts, your experiences with us. And you see, what you have done so far is just an